Hi everyone, and welcome to mini lecture 19. Today we'll be discussing the database Nexus Uni. Before we begin, take a moment to gather the materials for today's lecture assignment. You'll need a blank Word document to do some writing on, and you'll also need access to your current draft materials. Today's lecture will focus specifically on Nexus Uni. Now, Nexus Uni is a scholarly database that features more than 15,000 news, business, and legal sources, including U.S. Supreme Court decisions dating back to 1790. And I'm not kidding, they absolutely do have that information readily available. Nexus Uni is great if you are researching topics that are in political science, business, communication, anything of that sort. And really, it's just because they have more publicly accessible documents, so court transcripts, rulings that are done, at all levels of the justice system, but they also have public company records as well. So if you are looking at something regarding business practices and you are really interested in one company or a type of company, you can use Nexus Uni to find information that will help you better understand the inner workings of that company without you having to try to find that information on the company's site. Nexus Uni has sort of done that work for you, which is really nice. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use Nexus Uni to explore a few different concepts, so that way we can assess the different features, we can get a feel for the interface, and really just how to navigate the site in general. So let's hop over there and see what we find. All right, so I am on the DSU library homepage. So I just Googled Dixie State University Library, and this was the first search result. So in order to navigate to Nexus Uni, what I need to do is I'll come over here to the far left-hand column and I will click on Article Databases. Now, because of how the library site is designed, I could access this database through really most of these, so be it the alphabetical list, the general multi-subject list, subject list, full text periodical, not necessarily interlibrary loan, but that's less database, more ordering physical books. But for the sake of today's lecture, and just in general, it's a good practice just to go through the general multi-subject list. It's a little easier to find. You're not as overwhelmed with so many possible databases that you could use. So we click on that, and the different options that we have through this category are listed alphabetically. So if we just go a little over halfway down, we want to click on Nexus Uni, and you can even see the description that we looked at in the PowerPoint is found underneath its link here. Okay, so as we go through, this is the home page. A lot of stuff, a lot of ways to search. So you can also, first and foremost, like I said, you can search by topic or discover by topic. So Nexus Uni privileges information that have to do with business, criminal justice, and political science. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to find any information on like science or humanities or theater or anything along those lines. It's just going to have a different lens. So you might find a cool article on theater, but it might have to do with a court case regarding the production of a show, or talking about the business plans of a major theater company in New York City. So you will still find information on topics that might not immediately fall under these, within these realms, but again, the framework and the way in which the content that you'll find here look at those topics will either be through a business, criminal justice, or political science lens. So what I really want to focus on with Nexus Uni is the fact that they do what's called a guided search. Now, not a lot of other databases have this type of search feature. So let's say I'm going through and I am really interested in court cases regarding online privacy. So I click on cases. Then I have the opportunity to select federal cases or state cases. And so I'll just leave it with federal. And I will search online privacy. And with dates, maybe let's go within the last 2 years. So I'm narrowing down my search results quite a bit, and I'm filtering out the type of content that I would come across to court cases that were decided within the last 2 years. So let's see what we find. Okay, there's a lot of stuff already. So we are looking at U.S. federal court cases and what we want to do. So this is a lot of technical information. I think this is the only issue that I have with Nexus Uni is just their interface design, because this is a lot of text to sift through and to read through, and it just is overwhelming at first glance. But what I would recommend to make this a lot easier is to, under many of the court cases, they will have this overview here, and it'll give you a strong understanding of exactly what the court case examines, what kind of content you'll find, and then that can help you determine if that's something that you want to read in its entirety. So let's see here. Wow, we do have a lot of search results. Okay. So let's go, there was one, let's go to this one. So from this, we have the full, pretty much the full legal documentation regarding this specific court case. So in regards to Google, refer, header privacy, litigation, and so we've got all of the parties involved. We've got links to any of the history, so if this was an appeal or if it later resulted in an appeal, we can find that information here. We've also got core terms that we can use to determine if we want to read any further. So we've got internet, privacy, parties, affiliation, calculating aggregate. So these are the keywords that are going to come up. We also have an outcome or an overview and an outcome provided in the case summary. We've also got relevant notes provided by Nexus Uni. And then we also have the opinions from the judge, including the background, the analysis, and so on and so forth. And so we've got the decision here that can help us better understand the case. And we can use this when trying to understand perspectives, perhaps regarding the topic of online privacy. We could use this as evidence in an argument concerning online privacy. So again, you can see how, even though this isn't, technically speaking, a scholarly academic journal, we can still find great information that we can use in academic works. So now that we have looked at how to find legal information, and court-based information, let's do some digging on a company. So let's change our guided search from news to company info. And let's say I want to search Microsoft. Now I'll type in the company's name, but I can also narrow down my search a bit more. So maybe I just want the company profile. Maybe I want all company information. Maybe I want an analyst report, mergers and acquisition, SEC filing. So I can really narrow it down based off of my own interest and needs. So let's go here just to all company information, see what we find. Still loading, so I think we're gonna come across a lot of stuff. Okay, Absolutely. So this is pulling up all company and financial information regarding Microsoft. So maybe they're a company that I want to discuss and say, hey, this is how Microsoft runs this portion of their business. I think other companies should do the same, or I don't think companies should do the same as Microsoft. And here's information from their company profile or from a recent acquisition document that supports what I'm saying or lends understanding to this perspective. So you also want to pay attention for dates as well. So you can see here, a lot of these are in 1997. There are a few, oh, look, so we've got a company profile from 2018. So just be aware of that as you go through, if your research is dependent on finding the most recently published information, then you do want to keep an eye out for when that became available. Because, of course, there's going to be a difference between what you find, what's published in 1995 versus what was published in earlier this year. So let's click on this, see what we've got. Okay, so we have the relevant information for Microsoft's for the Microsoft Corporation here. So if we're interested in their cloud services platform, we can read more here. And then also, if you see, they have a linked table of content that we can use to help us navigate. So maybe we go to history, right? As it loads. All right, so this is going to provide us a brief overview of the different acquisitions, contracts, agreements, everything that Microsoft has done. And again, we can use this as a way to inform a perspective on a topic we're interested in, or we can use it as evidence in an academic work. So that being said, let's return to our PowerPoint and talk about the lecture assignment. What I'd like you to do then is, using the considerations that we've discussed, I'd like you to perform a search using Nexus Uni that will help you develop material for your current project, whatever it is that you are working on right now. Then I'd like you to compose a brief write-up, about 75 words, detailing your research process using Nexus Uni and discussing the implications your results have on your current project. What this comes down to is just tell me how you went about research. And you kind of see this as a really short research narrative. So say I went to the guided search, I clicked on court cases, I typed in the Second Amendment and hit states, state cases instead of federal cases. And then I narrowed down the years to cases that were ruled on, from 2000 to 2010. So just basically tell me what that process looked like for you, and then you can say, okay, well, I actually found a lot of court cases from this specific state or maybe from this part of the country. I think this is going to inform how I synthesize this source and this source, or how I develop my argument in this way. So it's very open. Again, just tell me how you went about searching and how those results are going to help you with whatever project you're working on right now. All right, everyone, so that does it for today's lecture. If you have any questions or if there's any content that I can speak to further, please don't hesitate to contact me. Okay, everyone, until next time.